When T went live on Instagram, his voice was shaking with anger, and his face was crimson with hate. My son has been snatched from me. My family is now the target of their actions. You don't know me if you think I'm going to keep quiet. It's not over yet. This is only the start. Millions of people watched. The feed was swamped with comments. He was urged to fight back by his supporters. He was criticized for fabricating false information. The site, however, was undeniable. In real time, no one could overlook the dissolution of one of the most recognizable families in hip-hop. For each yelling supporter, what if the rumors are true? What if T.I. has been hiding the biggest secret of all? Others said, seeking justice for King. What if King Harris isn't actually his son? The once untouchable Harris family now stood on the brink of total devastation, and the world was unable to turn away. The story was devouring, not simply trending, everything. Timelines, podcasts, late-night television, politicians, and newspapers all had something to say. Everyone agreed that this was greater than anyone could have ever anticipated, whether they called it a scandal or a tragedy. Because King's sentencing was no longer the only question. The query was heavier, darker, and more hazardous. Whose son is King Harris if he isn't Ty's biological son? Additionally, what are the advantages of tearing this family apart? Following the decision, Atlanta was more than just a city. It was a battleground. The streets were filled with protesters shouting, "Free King," and fairness for Harris. Helicopters circled overhead as police in riot gear guarded the walkways. It was no longer only a trial. An insurrection took place. Within the fissures grew in the Harris home. Tiny had stormed out and hadn't come home. There were rumors that she was staying in a heavily guarded hotel, too distraught to confront the mayhem. Ty stayed at the estate, pacing furiously and planning his next course of action. However, the internet was already outpacing him in speed. Detectives on TikTok examined every moment of King's outburst in court, noting his body language, pausing his speech, and highlighting his hands that are shaking. Some said it was an innocent man's unadulterated scream. Others said it appeared practiced, as if he was aware that the cameras were there. Then there was the nuclear blast. A leaked document purportedly from a sealed court file was posted by a YouTube channel. It stated that years ago, DNA testing were performed, and the findings were incongruous. The paper states that King Harris was not Ty's biological son. In only 6 hours, the video had 2 million views. Outrage, horror, and incredulity erupted in comment sections. Everything changes if this is the case. Thus, the secret was always this. Was Tiny aware? The collapse of the Harris empire started. Small went live on Instagram, her voice trembling with rage and her cheeks swollen with weeping. "You guys believe you know my family. You're not ignorant. Quit spreading false information about my son. I don't give a damn. Papers state, I will die for that guy because he is my child." What she said? She declined to respond when asked if she was aware of the DNA test, which aroused both pity and skepticism. And no denial could have outscreamed that stillness. In the meantime, T got ready for battle. While standing at a platform with security surrounding him, he held a news conference. Reporters yelled inquiries. T.I. smashed his fist against the table as the cameras flashed. Whatever papers or speculations they release, I don't care. Propagate. Or the falsehoods they fabricate. My son is that boy. My name is carried by him, my blood, as well as my heritage. The adversary is anyone who says differently. However, the adversary was inside already. The prosecution started to spread rumors to the media through anonymous sources that the DNA. The controversy was more than a rumor. The evidence was concealed in order to safeguard the Harris name. That there were layers of falsehoods, cover-ups, and secrets throughout the whole trial. The internet lost its mind. Everyone had their own version of events, whether it was Reddit theories, TikTok breakdowns, or Twitter threads. Was King framed? Or did T.I.'s empire use his entire persona as a fabricated shield? Then came the most terrifying leak of all. A shaky audio recording purportedly from within the King's voice was caught in a whisper by incarceration. They warned me. I'll never speak the truth about who I am. Make it out alive. The video went viral. The fans went into a panic. Theorists of conspiracy cried out. Hashtags such as Theorisecret and Who is King Harris became popular all throughout the world. All of a sudden, this was more than a legal dispute. It was a mystique that made it difficult to distinguish between truth and falsehoods, love and treachery, and family and deception. In the meanwhile, inside the King's health deteriorated while he was in jail. He seemed tired, battered, and haggard in pictures that were leaked. Advocates said that he was being mistreated. It was manipulation, according to critics. Either way, the pictures devastated people all throughout the world. Then the hackers came back. The same team that had pledged evidence now put up a dark web countdown clock. It was a straightforward message. In 72 hours, King Harris's true identity will come to light. There is nothing that can stop it. The media went wild. On live television, news anchors made predictions. Did the DNA play a role? The prosecution? A political ploy? No one was aware. However, King's tragedy became a worldwide preoccupation as the countdown clock grew louder by the second. The occasion was grabbed by T.I.'s adversaries. Rap industry competitors from the past made their own allegations, sprinkling the flames with gasoline. According to one, T had previously bought off judges. An additional said that Tiny had struck agreements with influential people to conceal secrets. The family fell more and further into the abyss with each accusation. Then the world was frozen by the film. A security footage from the detention cell that was leaked, King was seen yelling, "Tell my mom I love her. Tell my dad I'm sorry," as he pounded on the door. "Tonight they're coming for me." The clip ended. The screen went down. Fans requested that the one video that transformed murmurs into pandemonium responses. The courthouse was crowded with protesters. Some celebrities spoke their opinions, supporting King, while some accused the Harris family of rigging the system. The Harris family had transitioned from King was at the center of the most combustible controversy America had ever witnessed. But the question that everyone was asking had changed. The question was not only whether King was innocent. Rather, it was more sinister, eerie, and perilous. Whose son is King Harris if he isn't Ty's? What secret was worth ruining an entire the courtroom was meant to be a place of justice, but families to hide? The world froze as the cameras flashed, reporters flocked, and it turned into a theater of pain on this day. The judge gave King Harris a stern look before saying the words that would permanently destroy his family. Custody. There was more than just quiet in that room. There was a cry that was too loud for anybody to comprehend. His mother, Tiny, broke down in tears, her voice resonating with agony as she exclaimed, "That's my sweetheart. He cannot be taken away." Ty, the Southern king, the one who formerly he exuded unwavering strength, remained still, his hands shaking and his mouth tight, but his eyes spoke for him. Tiny went live, her voice breaking and her face bloated with tears, telling a narrative of defeat he could never escape. "I don't know my family, so please stop spreading false information about my child. King is my son, and I'll die defending him, regardless of what the papers say." Evoked pity, but her unwillingness to respond to the DNA queries was more blatant than any denial. Ty got ready for full-scale conflict. He hammered his fist on the table while standing at a news platform with armed guards surrounding him. "That youngster is my son, regardless of the lies they tell or the myths they propagate. Whoever says differently is the adversary. He has my name, my blood, and my heritage." However, T.I. was unaware that inside the prosecution circle, anonymous rumors started to circulate, and the actual adversary was already inside. Speculation became terrifying ideas. The DNA controversy was more than just hearsay. In order to protect the Harris empire, the evidence was purposefully concealed. Court records, testimony, secrets, all knotted together in a labyrinth of cover-ups and falsehoods. The internet exploded like a volcano. TikTok investigators revealed frame-by-frame analyses, and Twitter conversations piled up like books. Theories abound on Reddit forums. Was King Harris framed, or had his been created as a front to defend T.I.'s empire? Then the most sinister leak came to light. King was heard muttering in fear over a cracking, scratchy jailhouse tape. Told me, "I would never survive if I ever tell the truth about who I am." The word got out more quickly than fans cheered in panic as conspiracy theorists yelled that they had been correct all along. Global trends were dominated by hashtags like, "Who is King Harris?" and "Harris Family Secret." This had evolved from a trial into a puzzle that was torn between truth and treachery, and manipulation, followed by pictures that leaked online of King in his cell, looking thin, battered, and with eyes hollow. Critics said it was faked, while supporters vowed he was being tortured. For pity, in any case, the images broke hearts all around. The same underground gang reappeared on the dark web with a menacing countdown, and the hackers attacked once more. The truth about King Harris will be revealed in 72 hours. News anchors speculated live as chaos erupted and nothing could stop it. Was it a covert agreement with prosecutors? A political takeover? Or the DNA? No one was aware. But the news surrounding the Harris family grew more urgent by the minute. Family. In the meantime, Ty's adversaries detected blood, and former rap competitors came out, accusing one another like knives, one saying Tiny had hit dirty, and another that T had previously paid judges. Every phrase pulled the family more into the abyss, with bargains to keep skeletons hidden. Then came the world-paralyzing video. King was seen in the holding cell's leaked CCTV tape. "Tell my mom I love her," he screamed, beating on the steel door. "Express regret to my father. Tonight they're coming for me." The screen went blank when the clip ended. Fans wanted explanations after that one video pushed suspicion into mania. The courthouse was overrun with protesters, and celebrities took sides, with some supporting King and others painting the family as manipulators. But the Harrisas weren't able to avoid the storm. They were at the center of the most combustible controversy America had ever witnessed, and they were no longer just music royalty. The issue that followed was heavier than justice and worse than guilt. If King Harris. What truth is so deadly that it may destroy an empire? If it isn't T's blood, then whose son is he? The courtroom, once intended for justice, had instead become a scene of suffering. Cameras flashed, reporters flocked, and the world watched as 5 years in state detention. The judge's voice broke the quiet. The ensuing hush wasn't quietness at all, but rather the soundless howl of anguish. Her voice trembled as she broke down in sobs, saying, "That's my baby. You can't take him." Ty, the Southern king, the man who had made his fortune on arrogance and might, stood still. His jaw was tightened and his fists clenched, but his eyes showed a defeat too great for any verse of rap to conceal. Fucking Harris. Justice for King. The internet exploded at once. But underneath the outpouring of enthusiasm, there were deeper rumors spread, with some insiders claiming that T.I.'s name made the punishment more severe. Others cited papers that suggested competing power brokers were pulling strings in an attempt to permanently silence him. The worst part was that they dragged King away before he could even give his parents a farewell embrace. Tiny screamed his name as they shackled him like a demon, pleaded for courage. But the most viral video of the year was King's last moment, with tears running down his cheeks as the steel doors slammed. However, the ordeal was far from over, as rumors circulated that King had not been taken to he was sent straight to a maximum security adult jail, neither a juvenile center or a low-security facility. Fans accused the system of attempting to violate T.I., and some referred to it as a death sentence disguised as a law, emotionally, of conveying a message. His blood could not be protected by fame, wealth, or legacy. Back at the Harris home, quiet blanketed the corridors. Tiny's cries resonated through the empty rooms. According to sources, Ty, who was often the loudest voice, sat by himself in his studio and gazed at old pictures of King as a youngster, repeatedly said to himself, "Not my son. Not in this manner." Then the treachery. What little optimism remained was dashed by a fresh leak. An audio recording reports from the courtroom disclosed a heartbreaking reality. A member of the Harris family had provided testimony against King. It was said that the muffled but familiar voice belonged to a family acquaintance. The story took a different turn. Was King Harris only careless, or had the individuals he trusted betrayed him? Most trusted? The discovery exploded on social media and theories began to pile up. By the second, was it retaliation or jealousy? Or, as one popular article summarized up, was this the last step in a lengthy beer business plan to kill Ty through his son? Angry. After decades of fighting the system is now killing. This is execution, not justice. His blood. Outside the courthouse, the Harris parents were exposed to the world, and cameras captured Ty erupting on reporters while his veins bulged as he yelled. "They wish for me to fail. I vow on my life, yet they want to see me shattered. Until the day I die, I will fight for my kid." Little, with eyes puffy from unending weeping, she pleaded with him. For the public to view her kid as a person. She trembled when she spoke. "He is only a youngster who made errors. Don't put him on a cross. Please help him." Prison walls, however, showed no mercy. It was said that King had a terrible first night in prison. It was gone. The Instagram star who showed off expensive vehicles and chains, prisoners made fun of him, calling him a pampered child who believed he was on the street. According to reports, guards watched from a distance, perhaps taking pleasure in his humiliation. Online, fans were furious. The life of their ruler had diminished. He was struggling to preserve his soul. The vultures hovered while the family bled. Rap industry competitors started hurling insults. Online, malicious-looking cryptic postings surfaced. According to one, "The powerful always fail, and we applaud when they do." That one message ignited the internet, stoking ire that King's demise wasn't fate, but designed to destroy T's legacy through sabotage. The suffering extended beyond the courtroom and prison. Grabbing a picture of King as a newborn, Tiny broke Lev on Instagram, weeping so hard she was having trouble breathing. Ty, who always exudes confidence, crumbled during a radio interview. His words shook and his voice broke. "No bullet or meat can penetrate as deeply as this. They took more than just my son. My soul was stolen by them." The Harris family has previously survived controversies. However, this wasn't rumors. It wasn't a drama on TV. This was openly visible destruction, and it was a straightforward question that appeared in every headline, timeline, and living room. Was King Harris present? Was he martyred to make a point? Or was he punished for his crimes? The news was more than merely viral at this point. History was being written. Politicians voiced their disapproval of the legal system. In an attempt to release King, fans gathered and flooded the streets. Late nights and podcasts. There was much controversy about night performances. The Globe wasn't only observing, they were passing judgment. Nevertheless, despite all the cacophony, one truth struck closest to home for the Harris family. Would never be complete again. Due to the harshest penalty isn't always the one with a judge's stamp. It's the one indelibly etched on a family's heart. Thus we are left gazing at the inquiries. Thing is not going to die. Was King Harris really, are you guilty? Or did he play a role in a conflict to ruin T's business? To bury his lineage? To obliterate his name? Consider cautiously. 5 years for a boy in a cage continuing to stumble toward maturity. A mother silenced by sorrow. A father in chains powerlessness. A mechanism that is reliant on dismantling families. However, perhaps this goes beyond a single sentence. The buddies, the treachery, the leaks who turned, the highest level of protection positioning. Nothing about it smells like chance. The orchestration is evident. AA warning shot was fired at a hip-hop artist. Strongest dynasties. So let me ask, what do you think, you directly? Is King Harris at fault for his transgressions? The lamb sacrificed in a far-off scenario more sinister than we've ever seen? Put down your comments in the comments section, since the narrative is far from over. The tempest has just started. And when the truth eventually, one thing is certain: when fractures appear, it will be remembered as one of the greatest, worst, most terrifying, and most tragedies that hip-hop has never forgotten confronted. Because a family is lying tonight broken, and the world won't ever be the same tomorrow. View them similarly, or be the same tomorrow. View them